So last week, one of my favorite 90s action movies turned 20 years old, so I rewatched it. Now it's time to talk about Con Air. So in the mid-90s, Nicolas Cage was kind of on top of the world. He won an Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas, and then afterwards decided, you know what, I want to do 3 action movies. And so he does The Rock, he does Con Air, and he does Face Off, and all 3 of them are kind of classic 90s action movies, but in totally different ways. I love all 3 of them, and I got a special spot in my heart for Con Air. So if somehow you haven't seen Con Air, the basic concept is this. Nicolas Cage plays an Army Ranger honorably discharged, and he goes out to celebrate with his pregnant wife and gets in a barroom brawl with a couple of guys and kills one of them. But because he's an Army Ranger, the judge takes no leniency on him and he ends up serving 8 years in prison. And in this, he didn't want to ever see his daughter to ever see him behind bars, so he's never met his daughter. So in the movie, what happens? He is paroled and he's put on a plane to fly back to his family and be released. But during the plane ride home, the convicts take over the plane, put in danger the law enforcement officers as well as even some of the convicts, and our Army Ranger feels the need to try and stop them. That's the basic sort of idea of the movie, and it is a ton of fun. If you've never seen the cast of this movie, I mean, it's John Malkovich, John Cusack, Colm Meaney from Star Trek The Next Generation, Danny Trejo, Dave Chappelle before The Chappelle Show, Steve Buscemi, and I'm going to forget people because it's like jam-packed with an incredible cast of people. And even some of these like other roles in it, the pilot of the plane was a major actor on the show Lost. And you just go through it, wonderful actors that all kind of bring their most fun, vibrant A game to it that just takes a movie that's really stupid. The concept is moronic. It is dumb, and they take it to its most fun potential. So, with all that said, let's talk about the good. And really, the best thing about this movie really is the tone. They got the tone right. They had a stupid idea for a movie, and they knew that. They went, let's have so much fun with it. And so they took a dumb idea and just came up with these really just wonderful characters for everyone. Everyone in this is a great character, even though it's mostly like Dave Chappelle playing Dave Chappelle as a convict. That's a great character for this movie. Steve Buscemi is super weird and creepy. In real life, as best I can tell, so he's playing that in this movie and to an unbelievably creepy level. Even like Nicolas Cage's awful accent in this movie fits right into this stupid movie that we're watching, and all the pieces kind of fit together. Oh yeah, his wife is played by Monica Parker, who went on to be on the show Parenthood. That's like the whole thing. It's just jam-packed with like legitimate actors that all brought what their character needed. So the wife, not terribly interesting, but the wife's not supposed to be interesting in this particular story. She's supposed to be just the pretty lady that he wants to get back to his normal wife. John Malkovich playing Cyrus the Virus is supposed to be this insane criminal guy that shoots people in the face and has these little one-liners and all this. And he's just wonderful. He chews up every scene. Danny Trejo's playing the Danny Trejo character from Everything. Fits perfectly into this movie. It's like creepy rapist guy that's trying to rape one of the police officers on the plane. Fits perfectly in this movie, and it's creepy and it's unsettling. So many moments in this really bring the perfect creepy weirdness to him. Like Steve Buscemi has this scene in it that's so much better than the rest of the movie, where he's sitting down drinking tea with a little girl singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hand. It's terrifying, it's creepy, it's unsettling, it's better than the movie it's in, but that's the way this movie kind of is. It's just so nicely packaged of these little moments. And as we were rewatching it the other day, my wife was like, there's so many great lines in this movie, just perfect 90s action movie one-liners, and, put the bunny down. Why didn't you put the bunny in the box? Like, there's just so many things. You just go through the whole movie, all of the little things that they repeat over and over again. They're not like wonderful, literature. They're just perfect action movie type lines for a movie that's like this, that's stupid. Along the same lines, the score to it is like overly heroic, except with a lead guitar, and it's like, and it keeps playing this big, gigantic score as Nicolas Cage with a mullet, like moving in slow motion. I mean, it's just perfectly over the top for this movie, and it just fits to make the right environment, the right ambiance, funny one. Oh yeah, Ving Rhames, another one I forgot. Like I said, I'm gonna keep forgetting people that are in this that are great actors. I mean, this really is one of the most fun ensemble casts for a big action movie, really kind of ever, especially for something this stupid. To get this caliber of actors filling out the entire thing makes for a really fun, enjoyable film. Now, if we're gonna talk about the negatives, rewatching it the other day, the action isn't handled all that well, and like there's a lot of just kind of cutting things to like the punch going like this, where it's not really awesome action. It's not well staged. Even some of it, like there's a fight in the underneath of the plane, you can't really shoot that very well, and so the scene works because of the heroic lead guitar lines and stuff and the wacky lines in it. The actual action, not all that great. And there's a big shootout in a junkyard sort of thing, and just kind of a lot of cutting of explosions and stuff that it just doesn't work as just action scenes in and of itself. They're not the sort of things you want to go back and like, man, I want to rewatch that fight scene underneath the plane. I want to rewatch that junkyard battle. None of it really feels like that. Likewise, for Nicolas Cage kind of being the lead action guy, he doesn't really kind of get to go into action and be the hero until about halfway through the movie. And so our lead protagonist that's supposed to be the hero, he's more kind of like sneaking recorders into people and trying to do things kind of behind the scenes until really pretty heavily into this second act, third act of the movie before he gets to do stuff and show us how he's Army Ranger hero guy. And that's the plot kind of calls for that. But when you're doing this dumb and big of an action movie, you think that he does a lot more than he actually does in the movie. And you want him to do a lot more than he actually does in the movie if he's cool Army Ranger guy that beats people up. So those are some of the problems with it. And likewise, some of the special effects don't hold up. And in places that, like a plane flying, that shouldn't be a bad special effect in a pretty high budget action movie from the late 90s with this cast. You shouldn't see the plane flying and stuff and go, that's a special effect. That seems like something they should have done a better job with. And that pulls you out of a movie, actually to some extent it adds to some of the charm of it, actually, I guess what it really does. So I kind of going back and forth because it's so much fun. It is an action movie and the action's not so great in it, but overall, at the end of the day, this is a ton of fun. If you like 90s action movies, this is a movie that you should really enjoy because it's kind of the peak of the stupid and getting the ensemble of people all together into one place with a big, obnoxious Jerry Bruckheimer type score. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I like it a lot. I rewatch it a lot. It's a very fun movie. I wish the action was a little bit better, a little bit more of Nicolas Cage type action. If I'm being honest, I'm always tempted to give this one an even higher score than I gave it because I enjoy it that much and it has such a special place in my heart. But if I'm being honest, rewatching it, it had some flaws to it. But I mean, it really is a very enjoyable 90s action movie. If you're not in 90s action movies, it's not going to win you over. You're going to think it's awful and stupid. But if you like the 90s action movies, it's a good one. With all that said, how about you? Tell me your thoughts on it down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and tell me what, especially if you're kind of younger and you kind of don't have the nostalgia for the 90s. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. With all that said, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, retro reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions. I do these ranking videos every single weekend. Those are tons of fun where I get to talk with you guys about movies. Because I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you, so join me in the comment section down below, and thank you so much for watching.